one of the outstanding fighters in any division. He has fought long and hard to gain this recognition. After he turned pro in 1973, he compiled an outstanding record against top middleweight contenders like Willie Monroe. But Hagler was repeatedly passed over for a shot at the title in the late 1970s. Too good for his own good. It was not until his 50th professional fight he got an opportunity for the World Championship against Vito Antuofermo. But again, frustration. Most people thought Hagler had won the fight, but it was scored a draw, and Vito kept the crown. When Hagler got his second opportunity, he took no chances, destroying Alan Mentor in the course of 3 bloody rounds before a hostile British crowd, and won the World Middleweight Championship. He has defended the title 3 times since then, scored 3 straight knockouts, the most recent, Mustafa Hamsho, last October. Now Marvin Hagler is in line for a series of super fights, with the 3 young stars moving up from the welterweight division. Present plans call for a summer defense against former WBA champion Thomas Hearns. Then possibly a fall defense against 3-time champion Wilfred Benitez. And then perhaps the biggest payday of all, against Sugar Ray Leonard. But all that is down the road. Today, he makes the 4th defense of his undisputed world title against Caveman Lee, 25-year-old middleweight, whose record of 20 knockouts and 21 wins tells you he has at least a puncher's chance against the champion. So, live from Atlantic City, Marvin Hagler defending, Caveman Lee challenging for the undisputed middleweight championship of the world on ABC's Wide World of Sports. In Atlantic City, New Jersey, and recently it's become one of the centers for boxing in our nation. Today, Bally's Park Place, the location for the World Middleweight Championship fight. Corner Park Place and Boardwalk. There was a time when ballrooms were used for dancing. But these days, it seems the more profitable and entertaining adventures in many ballrooms is boxing. Expecting more than 2,000 people in the room today to watch Marvin Hagler defend his championship in the middleweight division against Caveman Lee, and you'll see it live. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson. And for Caveman Lee, his given name is William, got the name Caveman, inherited really because he used to wear a lot of hair when he was a Boy Scout. But this is a relatively unexpected opportunity. The champion Marvin Hagler expected to defend his middleweight title in San Remo, Italy against Mickey Goodwin. But Goodwin in training hurt his left hand. And because Lee and Goodwin are stablemates in Emanuel Stewart's boxing program in Detroit, it was relatively easy to effect the change, and so here is Caveman Lee with a great opportunity. And this arrangement between promoter Bob Arum and Emanuel Stewart is also supposed to include a match between the champion Hagler, you see him here live in his dressing room, against Thomas Hearns later this year. Marvin Hagler is honed for this fight. He did his work at Provincetown, Massachusetts. This is his 4th defense. He weighed in at 158 this morning, a dedicated professional fighter. For perspective, let's meet him now at his training camp up close.
A champion is a guy with that little bit extra, and maybe this is where I get my little bit extra from, by isolating myself. Like you put yourself in jail, and this is jail.
Well, the view from his jail is prettier than most, but nothing distracts him from his purpose. He trains with a rare single-mindedness, determined to build his body and mind. He may be a pleasant, almost gentle man after a fight, but beforehand he is difficult to be around and offers no apologies.
This is where you build your meanness of being in the training camp. There's a monster that come out of me on the inside. Now even more so behind me being champion, and you're trying to take something that I have, that I work for so long and hard. You're taking the food out of my baby's mouth, or my kid's mouth, or taking the roof away from our home. I'm like that. I'm scared about that, in a sense, so it makes me work harder.
Marvin Hagler has paid a price for his profession and championship. Back in Brockton, Massachusetts, there is a family growing up for long stretches without him. He was away training when his son Marvin Jr. was born. And he was away 3 weeks ago when his wife gave birth to Sharelle Monique.
While I was here, you know, I would pray that she come out of this okay too, you know. We both wanted this baby so bad, you know. We both wanted a little girl. So when it come out, Sherelle Monique, well, I jumped about, I don't know, 10 feet in the air, really, that it was a girl. And I just really couldn't train right. You know, I was too happy to train, if you know what I'm trying to say. You know, I probably couldn't hurt them guys the way that I wanted to down there tonight. My mind would be there instead of here.
The isolation seems to suit Marvin. He needs it to create the kind of emotion that drives him to explosive fury.
There they go. I can't let this guy here, Caveman Lee, get lucky in no way. I'm out there to rip his head off. That's what I'm out there to do. This is when I work. Even when I'm tired, I have to keep working, keep pushing. I tell myself I'm not tired. I'm in good shape, good shape. And this is what, when I go out there, it's like a performer. I practice and practice and practice right here. But fight night, everything's got to come out perfect.
Marvin Hagler, who admits he is still hungry, and I think you can find it in the point that he had to wait for his 50th professional fight to get his title opportunity. Since there is an agreement between the champion to defend against Thomas Hearns later, he figures that Emanuel Stewart and Thomas Hearns, who will be here today, may be doing some scouting, so he says he wants to end it just as soon as possible. Here's the young man who will issue the challenge. Caveman Lee, 25 years of age, a native son of Philadelphia. Moved to Detroit short time ago for more activity, and since then he has moved up in the rankings, winning 21 of 23 fights, 5th in the WBA, 10th in the WBC, weighed in at 159.5 this morning. So Caveman Lee has come to the ring now, and we're anticipating that the champion will be on his way shortly. New Jersey Athletic Commission rules are the fighters have to be gloved in the ring. The gloves were selected this morning after the weigh-in, agreed to by the fighters, the trainers, and the managers, but they were not allowed to take them away. The officials kept them, and now they are being put on the hands of Caveman Lee. Marvin Hagler is now ready to leave his dressing room and proceed to the arena here in the main ballroom at Bally's Park Place Casino and Hotel, where it's full, about 2,050 people. And for Caveman Lee, as I noted a moment ago, it's a time of relatively unexpected opportunity, but he is a young man with a thunderous punch, and you never know when that opportunity comes along. Thomas Hearns is sitting there, as you see, and he will have a sharp eye for what the champion Hagler does here this afternoon, because Thomas is looking for the opportunity to go against Hagler, and for all intents and purposes, that fight is supposedly set for later in the year. Of course, there is always the concern when you move from one weight division to another. Can you handle it in endurance, in stamina? Because oftentimes, moving up, you're going to be giving away some weight and consequently some strength. Now here comes your champion, Marvin Hagler. He is handled by the Petronelli brothers. Goody leading him there as they come down the hall and into the ring. And the chant starts to pick up now for the man they call around this part of the country Marvelous Marvin Hagler. It's funny how things can happen for a man. Not so very long ago, Hagler was having trouble getting fights, but now he is right in the middle, at the prime, at the peak of his career, with real big money opportunities somewhere in his immediate future. You saw his record reflected there. One of the draws, of course, against Vito Antuofermo in his first title opportunity. And now the champion is entering the ring.
For this upcoming title bout. And the audience with us today,
while the fighters are being gloved, let's catch up on some information about Caveman Lee.
Casino Hotel here in Atlantic City. The president, Mr.
Why is our copiers?
Some of the other fighters and personalities at ringside being introduced in the moments prior to the World Middleweight Championship fight. Marvin Hagler.